The buzz of my alarm pulls me out of dream world and into reality. With a sleepy roll, I slap blindly at the sound. Just 5 more minutes. The buzzing doesn't cease no matter how hard I slap my clock. I blink open bleary eyes as 10:17 a.m. blinks back at me. Crap. I shoot straight up in bed. I'm late for class. I push the off button on my clock, but it doesn't stop buzzing. Wait, my alarm doesn't buzz? Glancing over my desk, my phone buzzes loudly on the wood. It's Valerie. She's probably wondering why I was in class this morning. Who calls this early? Why, Valerie?
Oh, did I wake you?
I can hear the laughter in her voice. Yes.
Jeez, when do you usually wake up when we don't have class?
We don't have class?
Of course not. It's reading week. You don't have classes, silly.
That explains a lot. If we don't have class, then why are you calling me?
Because unlike somebody, I've been hard at work and found something interesting about Eagle's core.
Really? What is it?
It's the secret to Eagle's maximum overdrive.
Wait, seriously? What does it say?
It says, come to the hangar right now.
No, it doesn't.
Only one way to find out. See you in a few.
She doesn't wait for me to respond before the line goes dead. Valerie? She's lucky my curiosity is stronger than my irritation. I get dressed and ready for the day. Just as I'm about to head out the door, my phone beeps. I pull out my phone expecting another text from Valerie, and instead I see an old alert. Call Mom today. Mom. My chest tightens as if a hand is holding my heart. Today was her birthday. Last year I was so busy at CINY that I completely forgot about Mom's birthday. I didn't give her a call until the next day, and even though she understood, I could tell she was disappointed. I created this alert right afterwards so I'd never forget again. How could I have known that would be her last birthday? A spark of anger heats my blood. If Mom and Dad were really the target of foul play, somebody is going to pay for ripping them away from me, from Nikki. My phone beeps again. I open up a message from Valerie telling me to hurry up. I need to find out what's going on with Eagle. Maybe that'll give me a hint as to what happened to Mom and Dad. I take a deep breath and hop on my bike and hurry to school. When I arrive at the hangar, I head straight for Eagle. Valerie stares intently at the terminal, biting her lip in concentration. She glances at me as I approach and smiles.
I almost thought you weren't going to show up.
Here I am. She points to the terminal, fidgeting with excitement.
It took some time, but I finally figured it out.
You were able to reverse engineer the overdrive mode? Valerie nods. That's incredible. She grins proudly at my enthusiasm.
It took a little longer than I expected since the missing pieces were really hard to fill in. The full schematics are unlike anything I've seen before. I wasn't even able to find anything remotely similar while researching.
Her brows furrow in thought. Then she shakes her head and her excited grin returns.
Anyway, I've tested the data in the simulator, and it worked flawlessly. Your core is calibrated to be able to use the overdrive mode on demand.
That's awesome.
I haven't had a chance to try it in actuality, though. As much as I'd love to hop in your cockpit, I'm not much of a pilot. So, I leave the test piloting to you.
I nod. Of course. You're amazing, Valerie. Her smile broadens.
Oh, I almost forgot.
She returns to the terminal. As her fingers dance over the keyboard, another screen opens up. It's packed tightly with a lot of information. The bottom has an open section to input a password.
I couldn't figure this out, and it looks like any sort of tampering will potentially wipe the data. What's weird about it is that all those lines are not really code that needs to be deciphered. They read more like references I don't understand. Since you built Eagle, I wondered if this might mean something to you.
I glance at the screen. It does read like a whole bunch of inside jokes meshed together. Some pieces seem familiar, but strewn together like that throws me off. I'm sure if I had time to sit down and concentrate, I could work through this, but right now I'd rather focus on the overdrive mode. Do you have all the data you need for the overdrive mode?
Yeah, which is why I almost forgot about this. I'm not sure what's hiding behind here.
No rush, then. She smiles.
No rush. I do think we should book off some practice time in the arena and confirm the overdrive mode works, though. I mean, theory is still theory.
I nod. I was thinking the same thing. Let's tell the team about this and see if we can get a practice session in before the match. I shoot off an urgent group text. As I wait for everyone to show up, I pull up the arena schedule on my phone. Is there any chance it won't be fully booked because it's reading week? To my surprise, the arena is completely open tomorrow. Talk about good luck. Kaori is the first to arrive.
This better be important. Exams are next week, you know.
Trust me, you'll want to hear this. Kaori taps her foot impatiently.
Where is everybody else?
They're coming. A few minutes later, Sho and Mayu trickle in with Yuna tagging along.
Sorry if we're late.
Look who we found trying to break into the hangar.
Yuna's cheeks flush.
I wasn't trying to break in. I was just about to text that I needed someone to let me in.
Sho grins.
Sure, that explains why you were pulling on the doors.
I was just testing to see if maybe they were unlocked.
Wait, Yuna, how did you get on campus so fast?
I was studying in the library when I got your text.
Speaking of which, can you finally tell us what's going on so we can all get back to studying?
I glance over at Valerie, who nods. Valerie found out how to activate Eagle's overdrive mode on demand.
Are you serious?
Sho's voice rings out about the team's collective exclamations of surprise. Valerie nods.
Yep. Sorry it took so long.
The fact that you managed to figure it out at all is really impressive.
Yeah, I don't think just anyone would have been able to. Maybe.
Valerie answers modestly, but there's a slight blush of color in her cheeks.
So what exactly do you mean by overdrive mode can be activated on demand?
Is there really any confusion on that sentence? I mean,
Well,
push button
initially
and it
the
works?
programming was set to a single-run instance because it was in debug mode. I found a way to change the options of activation. That being said, it's calibrated and tested in simulation, but...
Valerie looks at me. We want to reserve the arena so we can live test it. Kaori nods.
That makes sense. We definitely want to get a handle of it before our next match on Thursday.
Why exactly do we have a match scheduled during reading week? Everyone stares blankly at me.
Why wouldn't we?
At CINY, everything was cancelled during reading week. Classes, clubs, everything. They really wanted us to focus on studying.
That must have been torture.
I don't think it's a terrible idea. That just means there are fewer distractions from studying.
Which is why you have to go to the arcade to make up for it.
I know, torture.
Tell me about it. Seriously, I was so bored I found myself actually missing class. Sho pats my shoulder sympathetically.
I am so sorry.
Focus, guys!
Sorry.
Yuna seems thoughtful.
Since your match is on Thursday, that doesn't give you much time to practice. Isn't the arena already booked up this week?
Actually, it's completely open tomorrow. I was thinking we could head over around...
No! Are you crazy? We can't do that!
I blink at Sho's outburst. Valerie looks just as confused as I am, but the rest of the team wears matching looks of horror.
What is up with those faces? You guys look like you've seen a ghost.
I mean, you're not too far off. The arena is haunted.
Valerie bursts out laughing and I let out a few chuckles. What are you talking about? We've used the arena plenty of times and we've been fine.
It's not always haunted, only tomorrow.
It's not haunted, you idiot!
I can always count on Kaori to be reasonable.
It's cursed!
Never mind. What?
How is it cursed? It's the curse of Yori and Nori.
You too, Yuna?
Broseph, Yuri and Nori are no joke. Haven't you heard the legend?
No.
What legend?
Sho takes on a serious tone.
Many years ago, there was a set of twin brothers, Yuri and Nori, who attended ACE.
And they were both top pilots here.
They were fiercely competitive in the arena, and their matches were thrilling to watch. Yuri was the older twin by a few seconds, and no matter how often they battled, he always took first rank. Nori hated being outmatched and overshadowed by his brother and trained harder than any other pilot at school. At the end of the season, the twins' highly anticipated match was just as exciting as ever, especially when Nori took the title of first rank from his brother.
I guess Nori's training finally paid off. Valerie raises an eyebrow.
Seriously? This is so cliché.
Sho gives her a look but otherwise ignores her.
It was all anyone could talk about, but Yuri was furious. He didn't think it was possible that his brother could surpass him. He accused his brother of cheating and continued to pester Nori until Nori couldn't take it anymore. They agreed to one final match, no holds barred, which would prove who was the better pilot once and for all. Obviously, the school would never allow no holds barred matches, so they set up a time after hours to meet in the arena.
Boring.
Just wait!
When they met in the ring, they readied their weapons like usual. Charging their laser guns, they waited for the signal. As soon as it sounded, they simultaneously unleashed their shot, which collided in a huge explosion.
That's not how explosions happen.
Trust me, it happened. I don't know how it did, but it did.
Mayu and Yuna nod along with Sho.
After the smoke cleared, standing in the middle of the arena were the twins' two gears.
Okay.
That's not the weird part. The weird part is that there was no trace of the brothers. Both the cockpits were completely empty.
Mayu shudders.
There weren't even ashes or anything. Wait, let's go back a second to this explosion. How did the gears even survive that?
That's part of the mystery. They say that the brothers' spirits are trying to finish the battle to see who is the better pilot, and any pilot who dares get between them will suffer the consequences.
Valerie cocks her head to the side.
You guys really believe this stuff?
It's real. Ever since then, anyone who's used their gear on the anniversary of the brothers' battle has ended up with serious injuries.
Yeah, there was this kid whose gear malfunctioned and started moving on its own.
And the girl whose gear got stuck after it depowered, so she was trapped inside. They had to remove the whole front of her cockpit to get her out.
Those are just the reported ones. A lot of times what happens in the arena stays in the arena.
As it should. Valerie looks at me.
What do you think?
I got 99 problems, but a curse ain't one. I don't believe in ghosts or curses.
Then how do you explain all the bad things that have happened on that day?
I don't know, coincidence?
The point is, we cannot be anywhere near our gears tomorrow. In fact, we should get out of Ace Academy altogether and go somewhere fun.
Valerie's dismissiveness shifts to intrigue,
Ooh, I like fun.
but Kaori doesn't. Where were you thinking? A sly grin spreads across Sho's face as he whips out a handful of tickets.
The hot springs, of course.
How long have you been carrying those?
You don't want to know.
I raise an eyebrow.
Let's just say I've got these ready for next year, too.
That sounds like a whole lot of fan service.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Valerie squeals and starts playing with her hair.
I can't wait to go. The water's going to feel so good.
I could use a break from studying.
You should come, Yuna.
Yuna smiles.
Okay, you've convinced me.
Wow, that was easier than I thought.
What about you, Kaori?
Kaori frowns.
We don't have time for this. Don't you all have exams to study for?
We've got the whole week to study. Besides, even Mayu's going.
But I called it. Kaori can't have fun. Mayu looks away as Kaori's gaze lands on her.
Are you going too?
Yeah. I'll study better once I've had a short break.
Come on, Kaori, live a little. If Mayu can go, then you can go. I mean, does anyone here study more than she does?
Mayu frowns.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just that you're really smart.
Mayu blushes deeply but looks pleased.
So, you coming, Kaori?
Kaori sighs.
Fine. But I'm coming back first thing the next morning. With or without you guys.
Yes, the gang's all going.
Since my day tomorrow is pretty much shot, I need to get as much studying done now as I can. I'll see you guys later.
Kaori hurries out. I actually should get some studying done too.
Me too. Same here.
It's time for me to hit the books too.
Everyone pauses to stare at her.
What?
You study?
Of course. How else do you think I get straight A's?
Sho's eyes widen.
You have straight A's?
Valerie laughs.
Don't sound so surprised.
If everyone else is going to study, then what am I supposed to do?
Study? Sho sighs.
I guess.
We can study together.
Sho perks up.
Suddenly studying sounds like a great idea.
Mayu smiles shyly. Sho takes her hand and the two of them wave before walking away. Alright, well, I'm out. I'll see you guys later. Everyone says their goodbyes and heads their separate ways. I find a quiet spot in the library and spend a few hours studying. Once the words start to blur on the page, I decide to take a break. I wonder if everyone else is ready for a break too. So, I'm trying to stay away from Mayu. Let's go Yuna. I wonder if Yuna's still trying out different clubs. The last couple of times I went with her, it was pretty fun. Let's see what she's up to. I dial Yuna's number. She seems out of breath when she answers.
Hello?
Hey Yuna, checking out any new clubs today? She chuckles.
No, I've decided on what I want to do.
Oh really? What did you choose?
Tennis.
I grin. Is that what you're doing now?
Actually, I decided to participate in the Tennis Open League today.
Does that mean you're going to try out for the school league next year?
Maybe. I'm not sure yet. It's still a huge time commitment. But I can always drop in on club matches. Want to come watch?
I recall how Yuna schooled me in tennis the last time we played. There's no chance this will be a boring event. Sure, I'll meet you at the courts.
Okay, see you soon.
We hang up the phone and I make my way to the rec center. The event has a strong turnout, while the spectator space is not as large as our other venues. More than half of the seats are filled. I scan the crowd of students lining the tennis court in search of Yuna. She's off on her own, leaning into a runner's stretch. Hey, Yuna. Her face lights up when she sees me.
You're here. Thanks for coming.
I wasn't going to miss out on another chance to watch you wipe the floor with your opponents. She laughs.
It won't be so easy this time. I recognize some of the students from the Ace Tennis League. There's a good chance I'll have to play against them.
I take another look at the students holding tennis rackets. Most of them keep to themselves. They wear solemn faces and quietly stretch. A small group of students are gathered in a circle. Those must be the league members. I don't think I know who any of them are. Yuna pauses and points out the ones she recognizes.
That girl with short hair is also a second year, and a pretty strong player on the team. She's actually from my hometown. We trained together in high school.
The girl is one of the only students with a smile on her face. She rolls her wrist and lets her racket hang loosely by her side.
The guy to her left is a first year. He just made it onto the team, so he's still in training.
As Yuna gives me the stats on her opponents, her demeanor changes. Her posture relaxes and her eyes glance alertly around the court. She'd fit right in with the rest of us in the pre-combat room if she were a pilot. Except for the whole stalking everyone part, I guess.
And that small guy beside them is actually their star player.
Really? I glance skeptically at him. He looks like a high schooler who's still waiting to go through puberty.
Yeah, he's a third year and captain of the tennis team. In fact, she
Yuna points again to the first girl.
will probably take his place as captain next year. He's also left-handed.
Ah. And that means?
I should have worked harder on my backhand.
So it sounds like those few are the only real challenge here. So in case you don't know the difference between left hand, right hand in tennis, that's referring to the angles that the ball is going to be traveling. Someone who hits it left hand is most likely going to have a lot of experience on the backhand because that's the shot they're going to have to make more often than not since their average opponent is going to be right-handed. The right-handed opponents will, on more times than not, hit against a right-handed opponent, so they'll do a forearm swing rather than a backhand. So pretty much the only time they do backhands is when they're playing left-handed players more often than not, which puts them at a little bit of a disadvantage. So in case you're wondering, yes, the left-handed players are trouble for everyone, even other left-handed players. But if you didn't know that about tennis, you do now.
That's only as far as I know. There may be some hidden diamonds nobody knows about.
And I'm kind of expecting some Prince of Tennis references here that are going to go over my head because I don't know the anime. Just keep your head in the game. Regardless, as long as you stay focused on the game, you'll be fine.
Thanks, Coach.
She sticks her tongue out at me. Spectators are being ushered to their seats as the organizers announce the first matchup. I better go claim a good seat. Yuna nods. The first few rounds are between students I don't know. I half-heartedly watch the matches as they all kind of bleed together. Finally, Yuna's first match is up. I sit in my seat and wave as she walks onto the court. She smiles in acknowledgement. Her opponent is a random student I don't recognize. I settle back into my seat. This will probably be a quick match. As I predicted, Yuna demolished the poor guy. Soon the second round of matches begins, and Yuna is pitted against the first-year Team League player. He scowls at Yuna, but she seems undisturbed. In the end, Yuna demolished him too. He stomps off the stage as I cheer along with the rest of the crowd for Yuna. When she's matched with a girl from the tennis team, the two of them nod in respect for each other. Yuna grips her racket tightly. A look of concentration replaces the smile on her opponent's face. They're more evenly matched, I assume, because they're used to each other's styles and know each other's strengths and weaknesses. Although Yuna claims to be out of practice, she still comes out victorious with a 2-point lead. Finally, the two remaining contenders are Yuna and the third-year captain of the Ace Tennis League. Even from my seats, Yuna seems to tower over him, but he is unfazed. They ready their rackets as Yuna gives the first serve. Just like when I played against her, her racket connects with the ball with a resounding crack. It speeds across the net in a blur, but her opponent seems to be waiting for the ball and easily returns her serve. They continue to volley the ball back and forth. I lean forward in my seat, holding my breath. He strikes towards Yuna's left and her backhand misses. The audience lets out a collective gasp. Their match is the most engaging as the two of them dart across the court. They're tied and this last point wins the match. That shouldn't happen because they should go into deuce. Ultimately, Yuna misses another backhanded strike and her opponent is named the victor. I race back down to the courts. Yuna and the captain are speaking. As I approach, I catch the tail end of their conversation.
Did you try out for the league this year?
So I want to say that's a Prince of Tennis reference, but I'm not entirely sure. I know his first name is Ryoma, I just don't know what his last name is supposed to be. Yuna shakes her head.
No, I was focused on my studies and was worried the league might be too much of a time commitment.
No wonder I haven't seen you play before. I'll admit, I was really impressed by your skills. You should try out for the league next year. I'm positive you'll make it onto the team.
Yuna smiles politely.
Thank you for the offer. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
I hope you do.
He glances my way, then politely excuses himself. Hey, Yuna. She whirls around to face me.
Oh, hey.
You were great out there.
Thanks. But I didn't win.
So, Talladega Nights reference coming to mind, but we'll leave it at that. No, but you and the freaking captain of the tennis league were neck and neck for the majority of the match.
I know.
I thought she would finally realize just how impressive that was and crack a smile, but she frowns instead.
If only I'd practiced my backhand. I know I could have beaten him in his smug face.
Wow. I knew Yuna was competitive, but I had no idea she was this competitive. Go for it. Let her vent. This was a hard loss, and if I were in her shoes, I'd be just as upset. Better that she gets out of her system now than later. Yuna continues to mumble to herself until she naturally begins to calm down. Feel better?
A bit. Well, it looks like everyone is leaving.
Yeah, we should probably leave too.
I'm going to go to the lockers and shower. Thanks for coming out again.
This was fun. She
I'll
smiles.
see you later.
I say my goodbyes and we head our separate ways. My phone vibrates in my pocket. When I go to answer, I see Sho is calling me. Hey, Sho.
Rosis, I'm so glad you picked up. I need your help.
Loan Shark? Are you okay?
No, I'm in dire need of assistance.
What's going on?
Do you have any experience buying a gift for a lady friend?
We all know your lady friend is Mayu. There's no answer for just a second, then Sho speaks.
It still feels kind of surreal.
I get it.
So, does that mean you'll help?
I can't leave my bro hanging. Sho sighs in relief.
You are the best bro tip a bro could have. Come meet me at the mall.
I'll be right there. I hang up the phone and head to my bike, then I drive directly to the mall. After I park, I see Sho waiting for me at the main entrance. He greets me with his usual goofy grin, but his hair is disheveled and there's worry in his eyes.
Thanks for meeting me. I don't even know where to start.
Since it's Mayu we're talking about, we're going books. Mayu loves reading, right?
Yeah. How did you know?
Lucky guess. I always see her reading when she's waiting for our team meetings to start.
Oh yeah, I guess she does do that.
You should get her a new book. Maybe something that's just come out. That way you know she hasn't read it
I
yet.
think she'd like that.
Sho nods.
Good thinking, Broseph. Let's go.
He leads the way to the store. What is this gift for anyway?
It's our 1-month anniversary.
Sadly, guys have died giving this response to a woman. You're celebrating every month? Jeez, that'll get expensive fast.
Huh?
Well, if you have to celebrate each month of being together by buying each other a gift, that adds up really quickly.
We're not celebrating each month. That'd be crazy. Just the milestones, like 3 months and 6 months.
Right, milestones. Anyway, congrats on your 1 month.
Thanks. I'm actually kind of surprised by how it happened.
How did it happen?
It came out of the blue. Mayu and I were hanging out as usual the Monday after our match with Onobugeisha, and I could tell something was on her mind. When I asked her what was wrong, she blurted out a question about feelings. It was so unlike her that I was too shocked to speak. Mayu didn't even hesitate, and she started talking about how she's liked me since we were kids, and she wanted to know if I felt the same way or if I was into someone else.
Wow. Sho laughs.
I guess she saw me walking home with Hitomi and thought we were dating. Silly, right?
Yeah. Sho looks sheepish.
I started laughing as soon as she said that, and I know I embarrassed her, but I couldn't help it. I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. As if I could ever like anyone else.
I blink. Really?
Well, yeah. Why do you sound so surprised?
It was obvious how Mayu felt about you, but you never seemed to notice. Sho's cheeks flush.
I noticed. Of course I noticed.
Then why?
She's so smart and pretty and awesome. She's way out of my league.
She was head over heels for you.
It's still hard for me to believe that. That's why this gift is so important.
No wonder he seems so agitated. Mayu will love whatever you get her. The fact that you're thinking about buying her a present at all will make her happy. Sho smiles worriedly.
You think?
Of course.
Still, it has to be perfect.
I nod. On that note, we better get back to searching.
Right.
I helped Sho pick out the perfect gift for his lady friend. I was hoping they'd give us more choices, but oh well. He ended up going with my advice and buying Mayu the newest fantasy bestseller. As we exit the store, Sho has a spring in his step, but he seems both nervous and hopeful. I hope she ends up liking her present. We say our goodbyes in the parking lot. Since I didn't have class today, I've got even more free time than usual. What do I feel like doing? Well, since I blew her off, I bet Valerie would want to hang out. I decided to give her a call.
Hey there. I was just thinking about you.
Very stalkerish? Oh, really?
Yep. I was just thinking how fun it would be to go dancing. But I need a partner. Hey, you in?
I'm not much of a dancer. I don't think I'd make a good dance partner.
So, it doesn't matter if you're good or not, as long as you have fun.
And don't kill anyone else on the dance floor and staggering around in the attempt to dance. If you need someone to stand on the sideline and watch everyone else dance, I can do that.
Alright, but I bet I can get you dancing before the night's done.
Better people have tried. Good luck. Is this going to be on campus?
You're funny. I'll text you the address. See you soon.
So we're going to a rave, apparently. She hangs up, and a few seconds later my phone buzzes with a text. I get changed into something more comfortable, which I can still move in, then drive to the address. As I get close, I see a line of people waiting out front as a bouncer checks everyone's ID. This is not what I expected. Valerie stands right out front and waves me over.
Finally, you're here! I almost thought you weren't coming.
Are we at a club?
Obviously. Where do you think people go dancing?
I thought you were talking about a dance class. Valerie laughs.
Nope.
I glance at the bouncer up ahead as he turns away a couple of underage girls. How do you expect to get in?
With my ID, of course.
She pulls out her ID, which labels her as 20. Where did you get that? She smirks.
I have my ways.
Let me take a closer look. Let me see that. I snatch the ID out of Valerie's hand and bring it close to my face. This is actually very realistic. Valerie smirks.
Pretty good, right?
She made it herself. You might be able to get away with it.
May I have it back now?
I hand it over.
Thank you.
Aren't we going to get in line? Valerie laughs.
Who stands in line?
She strides right up to the bouncer and flashes him an irresistible smile. Then she slips her ID into his hands. He grins appreciatively at her and waves her in, but stops me as I try to follow.
He's with me.
Valerie touches the bouncer's arm and gives him a sultry look.
It would make me really happy if you let him in too.
He sighs and checks my ID, then waves me in. Valerie winks as we slip past the bouncer and into the club. I squint in the dim bar as my heart pulses in time with the bass. The place has a decent crowd for this time of night. I migrate towards the bar and order a drink and something age-appropriate for Valerie. She accepts the drink with an amused glint in her eyes.
Come on, let's dance.
She grabs my hands and pulls me to the dance floor. I pull back. Hey, I don't dance, remember? She pouts.
Are you really gonna make me dance alone?
You knew what you're getting into when you asked me to come.
Too bad. You don't get a choice.
That's what I was afraid of. She grabs my hand and pulls me onto the dance floor. Then she swings her hips in time to the beat and bounces in rhythm to the music. I sigh in defeat and begin tapping my toes. Once I feel more confident, I join Valerie moving my hips.
I told you I'd get you to dance.
You win. She smirks. Sadly, I don't think this is the Arrested Development chicken dance. But we're gonna try it. I decide to wow Valerie with the one dance I know. I cluck my hand beaks, flap my arm wings, and wiggle my tail feathers. Valerie laughs nervously and stops me.
Oh, okay. Unless you're a sandwich, the club is no place for a chicken.
But that's my signature move.
I can show you some new ones.
After dancing together for a while, I feel thirsty. I'm going to get another drink. You want anything? Valerie shakes her head. Okay, I'll be right back.
I'll be here.
I return to the bar and order a water, then chug it in one long gulp. Dancing is hard work. I feel like I'm getting a workout. As I go find Valerie, some random guy corners her.
What's a pretty thing like you doing in a place like this?
Valerie forces a smile and steps away from him.
Sorry, but I have a boyfriend.
I'm just talking to you. That's not a crime, is it? How about I buy you a drink?
What a vulture. I step away for 1 minute. I stand behind the guy about to say something when Valerie glances at me and smirks. Then she refocuses on the guy.
Just one drink?
That's right. Just one drink.
Okay. Surprise me.
As the guy heads to the bar, Valerie darts towards me and leads me away.
Come on, before he comes back.
I laugh as Valerie leads me to the far end of the club. We sit on a couple of free stools and rest.
What a creep, right?
Yeah, nice strategy telling me you have a boyfriend. Too bad it didn't work. Valerie gives me a strange look.
What do you mean, strategy?
Well, you don't have one, do you?
Of course I do.
She's joking, right? Valerie makes all kinds of jokes. But her face holds no hint of a teasing smile. Wait, seriously? How come I'm only finding about... I can't even speak right now. How come I'm only finding out about this now?
You never asked before.
If you have a boyfriend, then why did you invite me to clubbing instead of him? Valerie's teasing smirk appears.
To make him jealous.
I frown. Valerie?
I'm just kidding. No need to look so serious. I did invite him, but he's out of town.
How convenient. She pouts.
Aw, that sounds like you don't believe me. I'm hurt.
She pulls out her phone and shows me a text message string.
See for yourself.
The first text is from Valerie. Since you won't be here, I'm going out with Hero tonight. I miss you, XOXO. He replied, I miss you too. Be safe and have fun, but not too much fun. Don't worry, the real fun won't start until you get back. I've got a special treat for... Valerie snatches the phone out of my hands.
The rest is a private conversation.
Okay, I'm convinced you're telling the truth. Valerie grins and stands.
Break's over, mister. Let's dance some more.
We dance until our feet grow tired and we can't dance anymore. As we walk out of the club, Valerie leans into me to ease her aching feet. Valerie pauses and slips her heels off. She pulls out a pair of comfortable shoes from her bag. She grins at me.
I learned my lesson from my shoe mishap at the park.
I laugh while she puts on her shoes. Then we walk to my bike. When we arrive at my bike, Valerie and I both climb on. After I drop Valerie off at Ace, I head home. Although tonight wasn't at all what I expected, I still ended up having a good time. My stomach growls loudly as I park my bike in the garage. Nikki, please be home for once. I wonder what we're going to have for dinner. As I enter the kitchen, I see a dainty strawberry cake sitting on the kitchen table. Cake for dinner? I peer closely at the layered cake and use my finger to taste the whipped cream. It melts on my tongue in a cloud of sweetness. Fresh whipped cream. That's the only kind of whipped cream I'll eat. Mom spoiled us. She never bought whipped cream because she'd always make it herself. Wait a minute. Mom's birthday. Nikki? Did Nikki bake this cake for Mom's birthday? I search the house, but see no sign of her. There's no text from her on my phone either. Clearly, she came home after school, which means there's only one place she can be. I grab my keys and hop back on my bike to find Nikki. We lived next to a park back home, and Nikki would often escape to there when she was upset. Just as I expected, I find Nikki swinging forlornly in the park. Her head is bent as she gazes down at something in her hands. I take a seat beside her. She glances at me but doesn't speak. Instead, she cups the open locket in her hands, the one that usually hangs around her neck. Inside is a picture of Mom and Dad. You okay?
Don't know.
Mom would have loved the cake you made her. Nikki snaps the locket shut and holds it to her chest.
I had to do something, you know? Today is Mom's birthday and I couldn't not celebrate it.
I know.
So I thought I'd make her a cake, like we used to, but...
Her voice trembles and she takes a minute to compose herself.
Then that cake, it was like it was taunting me. A reminder that Mom will never get a chance to eat it. It's not fair.
Nikki's knuckles turn white as she clutches at the locket. Her hands begin to shake.
I barely got any time with her before she was taken away, and I just want her back.
Nikki.
I know I'm being crazy, but I just keep thinking it's my fault.
Tears trickle down her cheeks and leave wet stains on her shirt. Instinctively, I pull in for a hug, and she leans against me. This wasn't your fault, Nikki.
It is!
You had no control over this. She pulls away and falls silent. When she finally speaks, her voice is thick.
I missed the bus that day.
What?
The reason they left the cafe is because I missed the bus and needed a ride home. I keep thinking, what if I had just gotten on that bus as soon as class ended? I wasn't even doing anything important. I was just hanging out and lost track of time. I remember being so annoyed when they didn't show up. I was so angry I had to walk home, and all I could think about was how much
voice falters.
I hated them.
You didn't mean that. You were angry.
What kind of daughter thinks like that? When I remember, I just feel so disgusted with myself.
Be that as it may, what happened wasn't your fault, Nikki. You didn't tell that driver to hit them. You can't keep blaming yourself.
Then why do I feel like I'm being punished?
Because this sucks. Because it's so easy to think about all the years that have been stolen from you and lament that loss. But you can't keep thinking like that. Be happy for the time you did spend together. Focus on all the good times you had with them. The last thing Mom and Dad would want is for you to be sad because of them. They want you to be happy.
I know. Just miss them so much.
I know. I miss them too. But on the bright side, at least you've still got me. Nikki sighs.
I thought you were trying to make me feel better, not worse.
Hey. She lets out a weak laugh. Her tears have stopped and some color is returning to her face. Remember Mom's cake from last year?
was completely inedible.
You mean the second cake? The one you baked for Mom because you forgot her birthday?
Oh yeah. Whoops. Nikki laughs.
Mom tried so hard to eat it, but eventually she just gave up.
Not my finest moment, but at least it wasn't as bad as the one Dad baked the year before.
You mean when he almost burned our entire house down?
Nikki laughs so hard she snorts, which only makes her laugh harder. Her laughter is infectious and I can't help but join in. I think I got a lot more of Dad in me than you do.
Yeah, but it's not all bad. You got a lot of his good qualities, too. Like how you're always there for me when I need you.
It's a hard job, but somebody has to do it. Nikki bumps me playfully with her swing.
Rude!
No, you know what's rude? Leaving a perfectly delicious cake untouched in the kitchen.
That's true. It was made for eating.
So let's go eat it. Grinning from ear to ear, Nikki nods and stands up. Together we head to my bike and I drive us back home. As soon as I park, the two of us hop off my bike and eagerly rush into the kitchen, then freeze. There's only 1/3 of the cake remaining, and a trail of crumbs starts from the kitchen table and ends at Uncle Kaito's face. I can only stare in stunned silence at the scene.
Uncle Kaito?
He pauses, a fork full of moist yellow cake is halfway to his mouth.
Did you eat all of the cake?
Uncle Kaito looks from his fork to Nikki, then back at the fork.
I want my lawyer.
Nikki and I burst out laughing as Uncle Kaito shoves the fork into his mouth. Nikki and I split the rest of the cake while Kaito looks on longingly. Nikki is all smiles for the rest of the night as Uncle Kaito asks us about our day. I tuck into bed early as I know I'll have a busy day of frolicking in the hot springs tomorrow. Soon, I'll be dreaming about hot water and hot girls. But you guys are gonna have to wait for that, aren't you?